Hey guys, this is CJ coming back at you for another video. As you can see here on my screen, I've got a website up and it says you are no longer my mother, how the election is dividing American families. So for those of you across the globe who may not know, right now we're in the midst of a heated election here in America, in the States, for the choice of who will be the next president of the United States. And of course, we have a two-party political system, basically, with Republicans on one side and Democrats on the other side. Now, I bring up this article to talk about this because this is one of those things I see that's not only a pressing issue when it comes to politics, but when it comes to religion, sexuality, race or ethnicity, nationality, you name it, there are disagreements. And we know because we're all each individual people, we're not all going to see the same things the same way. There's no problem with that. But the issue is that we don't know how to disagree peaceably in this day and age. Matter of fact, you probably, or rather, the argument can possibly be made that we've never known how to disagree peacefully. But that's a debate for another time. The point is this: in the United States, the right to vote is a fundamental right that each of us can exercise to cast a vote to choose who we would like to occupy a certain political office. And that's a fundamental right that we shouldn't take for granted. It's a great thing to have that right. But for your whole family to be divided just because you don't agree on who you should select or vote for as a political candidate, guys, I'm sure you all have to know there's something wrong with that. At least it seems to be to me. Why can't we just disagree in a peaceful way, rather? For example, I'm going to read this article here, and it says, when lifelong Democrat Myra Gomez told her 21-year-old son 5 months ago that she was voting for Donald Trump in Tuesday's presidential election, he cut her out of his life. He specifically told me, "You are no longer my mother because you are voting for Trump." Gomez, 41, a personal care worker in Milwaukee, told Reuters. Their last conversation was so bitter that she is not sure they can reconcile, even if Trump loses his re-election bid. The damage is done. In people's minds, Trump is a monster. It's sad. There are people not talking to me anymore, and I'm not sure that will change, said Gomez, who is a fan of Trump's crackdown on illegal immigrants and handling of the economy. But Gomez is not alone in thinking the bitter splits within family and among friends over Trump's tumultuous presidency will be difficult, if not impossible, to repair, even after he leaves office. Guys, look at this. This person and her son are no longer talking because she chose to vote for Donald Trump. Now, regardless of what you think about Donald Trump or Joe Biden, regardless, the fact of the matter is the people that choose Donald Trump to vote for have their reasons. The people who choose Joe Biden have their reasons. You know what the job of you is? Do you know what the rest of us, or rather, our job is when we encounter someone else who has a disagreement with us? Our job is actually just to respect the fact that they have the right to choose. That is their right to make their own choice. We don't have a say in their choice. The only time a problem exists is if that actual choice of that individual causes harm to another. Let me say that again. The only time, at least that I can see, that trouble would exist or there's a problem with someone's choice is if their choice causes harm to another person, or if their choice infringes on the rights of another person. That's when we have a problem, guys. Otherwise, we need to actually practice disagreeing in a peaceful way. So I'm going to go on here in this here website, this article. It says, in interviews with 10 voters, 5 Trump supporters and 5 backing Democratic candidate Joe Biden, few could see the wrecked personal relationships caused by Trump's tenure fully healing, and most believe them destroyed forever. Throughout his nearly 4-year norm-smashing presidency, Trump has stirred strong emotions among both supporters and opponents. Many of his backers admire his moves to overhaul immigration, his appointment of conservative judges, his willingness to throw convention to the wind, and his harsh rhetoric, which they call straight talk. Democrats and other critics see the former real estate developer and reality show personality as a threat to the American democracy, a serial liar, and a racist who mismanaged the novel coronavirus pandemic that has killed more than 230,000 people in the United States so far. Trump dismisses those characterizations as fake news. Now, with Trump trailing Biden in opinion polls, people are beginning to ask whether the fractures caused by one of the most polarizing presidencies in U.S. history could be healed if Trump loses the election. Unfortunately, I don't think national healing is as easy as changing the president, said Jamie Saul, a psychotherapist at the Rochester Center for Behavioral Medicine in Rochester Hills, Michigan. It takes time and it takes effort, and it takes both parties, no pun intended, being willing to let go and move forward, she said. Sal said tensions in people's relationships, personal relationships, have spiked given the political, health, and social dynamics facing the United States. Most often, she sees clients who have political risks with siblings, parents, or in laws as opposed to spouses. Again, it's their right to choose who they want to vote for. That's everyone's right. You're free to choose who you want to vote for. I'm free to choose who I want to vote for. We can't let who we choose for president become an actual issue that divides a family forever. For example, I'm going to read another example down here in the story. I'm not going to read the whole article. I just want you guys to see how petty this is getting. So in another example, it says Gail McCormick, 77, who separated from her husband William, 81, after he voted for Trump in 2016, said, "I think the legacy of Trump is going to take a long time to recover from." Guys, look at this. This is a husband and wife. The wife is 77 and the husband is 81. And they separated because the husband voted for Donald Trump in 2016. This is a husband and wife. The two still spend time together, although she, the wife, is now based in Vancouver and he, the husband, is in Alaska. Two of her grandchildren no longer speak to her because of her support for Democrat Hillary Clinton 4 years ago. She has also become estranged from other relatives and friends who are Trump supporters. So guys, this is not only affecting her marriage to her husband, this is affecting her and other relatives throughout the family. I mean, you see here the grandkids, for example, other relatives and friends. She is not sure those rifts with family and friends will ever mend. Guys, listen to that. She's not sure that these disagreements will ever mend because each believes the other to have a totally alien value system. Well, guys, here's the thing. When you disagree with someone, why not actually talk it out to find out why you disagree? And I know that these are basic concepts. They should be basic. But guys, honestly, we can see that we plainly have a problem with disagreement. We do not know how to handle disagreement properly. So if someone disagrees with me on a topic or a subject, I'm going to talk with them to see why they disagree. And guess what? When we talk to someone and see why they disagree with us, we can't call them names or debase their comments or whatever, because that's going to be disrespectful. And then how can we ever mend any fences if all we do is criticize them for their viewpoint? We can't. Again, we have the right to vote. It's a fundamental vote, fundamental right here in the United States. We also have the right to disagree. How can we actually respect other people's rights while also disagreeing with it peaceably at the same time? That's the question, guys, that we need to answer. And we need to start thinking about that when it comes to the election and any other general situation or topic that comes up within our families. We have to start respecting other people's viewpoints while disagreeing with their choices responsibly. Not criticizing them for having a difference of opinion from us, but respecting their right to disagree with us. But see, when we make it personal, then a problem ensues. That's how families get separated, as you're reading about here in this article from Yahoo. Families get separated because they don't know how to respectfully disagree with one another's choice for candidate of the presidency of the United States. I'm going to read another example here. Democratic voter Rosanna Godagno, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, 49, said her boyfriend disowned her after she refused to support Trump 4 years ago. Last year, her mother suffered a stroke, but her brother, get this guys, who lived in the same California city as her mother, did not let her know when her mother died 6 months later. Guys, did you hear that? This family, this brother and sister are at odds so much that the brother did not even tell the sister when their mother passed away 6 months, and it was 6 months later before she found out. She was told the news after 3 days in an email from her sister-in-law. I was excluded from everything that had to do with her death, and it was devastating, said Guadagno, a social psychologist who works at Stanford University in California. Whoever wins the election, Guadagno is pessimistic that she can reconcile with her brother, although she says she still loves him. Guys, their mother passed away, and she didn't find out about it until 6 months later. 6 months later. Again, we can see it's an example of how this brother and sister cannot disagree peaceably and respectably about who they choose for candidate of the United States for presidency. And this doesn't just apply for an election. This applies for whatever there's a disagreement about. For example, you have the Black Lives Matter movement going on right now, and lots of people disagree with it. Some people, when they disagree, though, they want to throw rocks and throw stones. Well, Jesus was the one that said, let the one without sin cast the first stone. None of us are without error. All of us have made mistakes. But we shouldn't be casting stones at someone just for disagreeing with our viewpoint to begin with. Again, we say that we live in a free country, right? We say we're in a free country. We say that everyone has the right to do what they want as long as it doesn't cause harm to someone else. But yet, when people exercise that right to say what they want to say, and I'm not talking about things that are disrespectful or demeaning of others, I'm talking about just saying their opinions of what they view about something, there's always someone coming to criticize them. There's always someone coming to criticize them. Guys, some of you that'll listen to this video are gonna thumbs down it and disagree with my points. Some of you may even make nasty comments. But here's the thing. That will be an example showing that we do not know how to disagree in a respectable and peaceful way. Guys, we've all got to live on this planet together. And we better start learning how to respect each other and each other's viewpoints. I didn't say that we need to learn how to agree with someone. We need to learn how to disagree with them in a peaceful way. Because your right to free speech is the same right that I have to free speech. So let's respect one another's viewpoint if we differ in what we say. Simple as that. We can't let the election, we can't let our handling of the current pandemic, we can't let any of these things cause us to become so angry with one another or so at odds with one another that we forget that we want someone to respect us and our opinions. So guess what? If you want someone to love and respect if you want someone to respect your opinion, then you've got to give respect to others also on their opinions. You don't have to agree, but you do have to respect it. And as long as your opinion or someone else's opinion doesn't cause harm to you or someone else, it's their life. It's their choice. They have the right to choose to like and dislike what they want. So I didn't want to take up too much time, guys, but this was one of those things that I wanted to talk about because the election is a hot topic right now. Soon it will be over, and then we can all kind of get back to normal. Well, normal, right? Yeah, with the current times, I don't know if there's really a definition of normal we can really say that we can get back to, but you guys, you know what I'm saying here. It'll be a nice thing when this is finally over. That way, some people who have had disagreements will go back to becoming friends again and vice versa. So anyway, I appreciate you guys listening in, and like and subscribe, and tune in for the next video. CJ Highway out.